Pythagorean triple is three numbers whose lengths are the sides of a right triangle. A Pythagorean triple is three numbers whose lengths are the sides of a right triangle. And yesterday we learned some formulas for finding Pythagorean triples. And so I just want you to have that formula down. The first one is A equals n squared minus m squared. So you're allowed to pick any n and any m that you want, and then you try that in there, and you get your first number. And then for b, you take 2 times n times m. And you use the same n and the m as you did before. And then to get your third number, you take n squared plus m squared. So what all that will do for you is you'll get three numbers, and those three numbers, if you drew carefully, like let's say you got 3, 4, and 5. If you measured carefully and measured 3 inches, and then measured again and got 4 inches for the second side, and then measured 5 inches, they would make a triangle, first of all, and then second of all, it would be a right triangle. So it's three numbers that can go together and form the sides of a right triangle. So that's called a Pythagorean triple. Okay, that's it for the note card. Not too many notes today. Let me pass back the hole punch for you. And then if you haven't gotten the sheet of paper out yet, get out a sheet of paper for today's work. The title is Triangle Inequality. And Pythagorean triples. Triangle inequality and Pythagorean triples. And we're going to start with number 6. Sorry to skip around. And number 6, we have the point Q. And that point is -2, 1. And then we also have the point R. And that's 5, -3. And the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to plot those 2 points. So you need an a y-axis that goes up and down, and an x-axis that goes side to side. And remember, this, you always start in the middle when you plot points. And this means go left 2 and then up 1. So go to the left 2. Just make it evenly spaced if you can, but you're not going to be able to get exactly right. Just do the best you can. Go left 2 and up 1. Bless you. And that's the point Q. And then this says go to the right 5 and then down 3. So right 5 and down 3. So that gets you to the point R. Okay, then the question says find QR. And we haven't seen that symbol before, so I have to explain what that symbol means. But that's what this question's asking. It's asking us to find QR. So we have seen something that's kind of like that. We've seen QR with the little line over it. And this is the name of a line segment. So remember, if there's a bunch of lines on a paper, we want to be able to refer to a specific line, and so we have a name for it. So if you have QR with the little line over it, that's the name of the line segment, so you know which one you're talking about. But if you have QR without a line over it, it's something different. Okay, what this means is it means the length of the line segment. So another way to write this sentence, or this question, is find the length of QR. So mathematicians are always trying to come up with shorthand. So they say find QR, and that just is a shorter way to say find the length of the line segment QR. So that can be confusing because it doesn't really, it'd be better if they'd write out the whole sentence, but you need to know the symbols too. Okay, so we're going to go back to our picture, and here's the line segment QR. And what we're trying to figure out is the length of that. And if we had a ruler, we could just measure it, but that's not how we're going to do it. We're going to try to figure out how long it is. So we're looking for how many inches it is, basically. Okay, so in order to figure that out, I'm going to draw in a triangle. And the reason I'm drawing the triangle is I can figure out how long this is by just counting. So 1, and then see where these tick marks line up. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that side of the triangle is 4. And then I could also figure out how long this is by counting. So I'll put my tick marks in so I can tell. So you're counting spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that side of the triangle is 7. So the whole reason I drew the triangle in is because then I can count how far it goes down and how far it goes over based on my tick marks on the picture. Okay, so I know this side is 4, and I know that side is 7. And this triangle has a right angle in it because I went straight down and then I went straight over. So since it has a right angle in it, that means that I can use the Pythagorean theorem. And I'm trying to figure out how long that is. So I guess I'll call that x, or you could call it c, whatever letter you want to use. And so I can just do leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. So the reason I'm allowed to use Pythagorean theorem is because I drew a triangle in that happened to have a right angle with it. So then you just figure it out from there. 4 squared is 16, and 7 squared is 49. And then 16 plus 49 is 65. And then you carry down the other side, x squared, x squared. Then how do you get rid of the squaring? Take the square root. Good. So you square root both sides. And so x is going to equal the square root of 65. So then you could type in square root 65 on your calculator. And if I remember right, it comes out to 8.06. So it's good to have both of these numbers down. I mean, sometimes math teachers try to be exact. And the problem with this number is I rounded it. The actual number fills up the entire screen on the calculator. So this is a rounded number. So this isn't exactly the right answer. So sometimes we like this one because it's exactly right. On the other hand, if someone says, hey, how long is that? And you tell them square root 65, then that doesn't really tell them how long it is. So the advantage to the 8.06 is you can tell how big that is. So this is good because it's exact, but this is good because you can tell what number it is. So it's good to have both. That's why I put both down. And sometimes we just leave it at that, square root 65, because mathematicians are trying to be exact. And then in science class, you tend to round every time. Just depends on what you're going for. Okay, so really the only major new thing today is this symbol here, QR. And if it doesn't have anything on top of it, it means the length from Q to R. And that's going to be easy to forget because it would be better if we just wrote all these words down. But you got to learn the symbols too, so that's why I'm pointing it out. Okay, so I tried to make today shorter because it was a Friday. So there's only a front side to this paper.